Hey guys, Omni here. We got some Marvel MCU news as well as some new DCEU news that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Let's start first with the MCU announcement. This is another release delay, sorry, of Black Widow. It got pushed again, and subsequently, it's pushing all the other MCU movies back a peg. So Black Widow has been moved from November 6th, 2020 to May 7th, 2021. This in turn has pushed back the Eternals, which was originally going to release on February 12th, 2021, now to November 5th, 2021, subsequently pushing back Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings from May 7th, 2021 to July 9th, 2021. So Shang-Chi will be Shang-Chi instead will now be releasing ahead of the Eternals, which kind of changes that up because it was going to be Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi, but now it looks like the release is going to be Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and then Eternals. So our fill on the MCU is going to be kind of pushed back and put on hold. And right now, Wonder Woman still seems to be holding on to December, having been pushed back from November. So we'll see if they stand on that date. I know these are huge movies, and with stuff like Tenet and Mulan not quite hitting, Mulan especially not hitting targets and not making anywhere near the amount of money that it would have in a theatrical release. And Tenet really just kind of scraping by, showing that some people are still definitely going to the theaters, but it is not making the kind of buku money that it would in a normal theatrical event. And it's just kind of proving that right now, not enough people are going out to these things. And it's causing these studios to really kind of reevaluate what to do with these movies that they know are what so many people were foaming at the mouth for, like Wonder Woman, with anything from the MCU. So I'm really, it sucks. It does, because we all want to watch these movies, but we got to be safe and we got to be responsible at the same time. And we're seeing that from the testing they've done. Tenet's not bringing in nowhere near the money it would based on current trajectories for previous Christopher Nolan films, and Mulan definitely hasn't hit the mark for what Disney is used to with a movie of that scale. Of course, the movie itself critically is getting slaughtered, and the Chinese audience definitely didn't show up to support the film either. So there's some other factors that are kind of playing into that might not be a true test of this premiere access kind of plan they have. And I know there's a lot of people talking about how they might get a truer test out of some of their upcoming films, maybe like with Soul or something like that, something that doesn't have controversy tied to it or anything else that might weigh it down, to see if maybe that is something they can do. Right now, though, it is completely infeasible for anything from the MCU to be put out in that level and for them to get any kind of significant financial return out of it. So that's why we're seeing these delays, and hopefully, things might be a little more stable come May next year. In other news, in the DCEU side of things, they had just announced today that yet another DCEU spinoff is coming to HBO Max. We already know that they're doing a GCPD show, which is a prequel spinoff to Robert Pattinson's Batman film that is coming out, which takes place during his year 2. The show itself is going to predate that, kind of covering Batman's entrance into Gotham, his year 1 through the eyes of a corrupt GCPD officer or detective, I can't remember, and it'll lead into that story and build up that universe a little bit more. So we're getting something in the same vein with James Gunn and his Suicide Squad reboot, partial reboot, which is going to be Peacemaker. John Cena's Peacemaker is getting an origin series straight to HBO, and it's going to be produced, led, directed, majority of the episodes written and directed by James Gunn himself to lead into it. Give us some backstory on this character, which makes me wonder if his character is going to have a much more significant role than I think a lot of people are kind of proceeding, if they're investing a whole show into setting up this character. Or they're like, let's just give John Cena a show. he comes into the movie and just immediately gets killed off. I don't know. So I just kind of want to talk about what's been said about it so far. James Gunn has the unique ability to create an expansive universe while also bringing to life the soul and wit of each character. We look forward to a deep dive into the world of Peacemaker. Peacemaker is an opportunity to delve into current world issues through the lens of this superhero slash supervillain slash the world's biggest douchebag. I'm excited to expand the Suicide Squad and bring this character from the DC film universe to full breadth of a series. And of course, to be able to work again with John, Peter, and my friends at Warner Brothers is icing on the cake. John Cena went on to add, I have said before that it's been a tremendous honor and incredible opportunity to be part of the Suicide Squad and to work with James on what is going to be a fantastic movie. I am unbelievably excited to have the chance to team up with him again for Peacemaker. We can't wait for fans to see this. So, this is further cementing how HBO Max, Warner Brothers, is completely committing to making HBO Max their new DC hub. We know that once previous contracts are up with Netflix, I believe right now, all of the CW Arrowverse shows will be moving exclusively to HBO Max. Everything that was on DC Universe, as far as original scripted series, have been removed. Well, not removed yet, but will be moving permanently to HBO Max, as well as a bunch of other upcoming series coming to order for the Green Lantern, Strange Adventures, as well as a few others coming down the pipeline as well, like the Justice League Dark series from J.J. Abrams, and I'm sure there's a lot more coming down, along with being the main hub for all DC animated shows, animated movies, and the DC live action movies once all the other, again, contracts are up with the other streaming services and outlets that currently hold rights to air and show these properties. Right now, everything's kind of scattered from the way that the merger has gone because of previous deals and all that. But we're seeing at least the stuff that they're inventing now to follow in with this new world that is being brought up, these new IPs that are coming out, that they're spinning off of their films, like Peacemaker, like the Justice League Dark, and this GCPD show. It's they're going to be moving forward with that, and I think that's going to be interesting because we're getting more layers to the DCEU. It's not just the movies. We're going to be getting things spinning off from the series. We're going to get more tie-ins. We know that the CW Arrowverse has crossed over with the DCEU already as well, and there's talks of exploring further crossovers between the film universe and the TV show area. And I think that these kind of series level spin-offs is just another way that they're accentuating that. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Like John Cena, he's a very charismatic dude. He's really surprisingly funny. And I really want to see him play this character and this role. And I'm excited to see it because they did just kind of describe him as Captain America if Captain America was just a huge douche. And again, they kind of reiterate that in what they're talking about with this show. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to check it out. I'm still really curious about the GCPD thing because it sounds like a rehash of Gotham, but except darker and actually serious. Gotham was fun and it had a darker edge, but it also had a lot of kind of Adam West like kind of camp to it that kind of gave it its own fun flair. But I'm curious to see what this gritty, more realized version of Gotham is going to look like through the lens of from the GCPD. From a corrupt detective or whatever, and seeing this vigilante come in is going to be fun. I think DC is going to be doing some fun stuff here in the near future. They're definitely hyping things up, and it's a lot more to hype things up than to actually deliver on it. So we'll see how things actually perform, how things actually, launch off whenever these things are out in the world, and we can watch and see them because everything sounds amazing on paper, but we've seen that sometimes here and there DC can kind of drop the ball. But so far, I've got a lot of faith in this new leadership, this new dynamic that this new Warner has set up between DC Films, DC TV, and DC Comics with their trinity of executive heads that are taking and leading the charge on this. DC Fandom really, I think, set this up very well when we actually got to see Walter Hamada, Greg Berlanti, and Jim Lee all kind of talk about how their approach has changed thanks to everything that's been going on. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see how it all pans out. So what do you guys think about this? How do you feel about, again, Black Widow and all the other Marvel movies being pushed back further out? I mean, this is something that I think right now is everybody's kind of expecting these sorts of things. Are you disappointed? Are you upset? I'm sure a lot of people are. But what are your thoughts and feelings on that? And how do you feel about this DC announcement for this Peacemaker show with John Cena and James Gunn? Are you excited for that? Are you excited for the GCPD show? Sound off in the comments. Let's carry on the conversation after the video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, everybody.